Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari, and today we're going to have some more stories about our toxic life. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now without further ado, let's go. Today's first story. In this story, OP plans a romantic anniversary concert for his wife of 10 years, only to discover her infidelity. Shocked and hurt, he attends the concert alone, reflecting on their relationship. Despite her pleas, he realizes the depth of her betrayal through old cards and messages. This painful revelation leads him to re-evaluate their marriage and contemplate the future. Now let's get into the story. My wife, 32 female, has always been my biggest supporter, especially when it comes to my DJing career. It's actually how we first met back in 2011 at a school event, where I was starting out as a DJ in our town. The moment we started talking, we just clicked. We had so much in common, from our interests to our taste in music and favorite bands. At first, we decided to hang out as friends, but before long, we knew there was something more between us, and we started dating. Fast forward to 2013, we got engaged, and to celebrate, we took a trip together. We often reminisce about that trip where we listened to the entire Third Eye Blind catalog and sang along to all the songs. That year we tied the knot and got married. Throughout our marriage, we developed this special tradition of trying to see our favorite band, Third Eye Blind, as often as possible. We made an appointment to attend their concerts whenever they were on tour, and over the course of our 9-year marriage, we managed to catch them 9 times. It's been a fantastic journey filled with shared passions and great memories. Last night was supposed to be our 10th time seeing our favorite band. Can you believe it? We've been married for 10 years as well, and our anniversary is just around the corner in November. I had this amazing plan all set up for us. We'd go to the concert, stay at a nice hotel, and have a super romantic night together. And to top it all off, I got her a beautiful custom necklace made of gold with her name on it and her favorite lyrics engraved. I'd been saving my entire salary for the past year just for this special gift, and I knew she would absolutely adore it. So on Friday night, the big day arrived, the day of the concert and our 10th anniversary celebration. When I got back home from work, I found my wife getting ready, looking as stunning as ever. I was all excited to give her the necklace and the concert tickets, so I went to my work laptop bag where I kept them. But then I noticed her phone on the table, and it had a notification buzzing. I couldn't resist my curiosity, so I tapped on the message. The text was from an unknown number, and it said, "How was today? I miss you so much. When can I see you again?" Man, it was such a shock for me, and my chest felt this weird, heavy feeling when I saw that message on her phone. I couldn't help but scroll through their chat, and with every message I read, I got more and more disgusted with my wife. I mean, how could she do this to me? That was the only question running through my mind. The worst part was when she mentioned him needing condoms, and he replied to it with a picture of a pack of condoms in his car, with the caption saying, "Already." It made me wonder if they even used any, but honestly, at this point, does it even matter? I didn't want to stay in the house a minute longer, so I grabbed my work bag, which had the concert tickets and the necklace I got her. I needed some space to process what was happening before I confronted her about it. So I hopped in the car and drove straight to the concert. I had spent a lot of money on those VIP tickets, so I figured I might as well make use of them. About 15 minutes into the drive, my wife called me, sounding surprised and annoyed at the same time. She asked where I was and what I was up to. Can you believe the audacity she had to ask me that? I was so angry that I told her I was on my way to the show, so she already had her fun private show in the afternoon. There was silence on the other end, but I was too furious to carry on the conversation, so I just hung up. I was still in shock and couldn't believe where I had just discovered. At that moment, I was feeling numb, like I didn't know what to feel. Then she called me back, and it was like she was going through the motions. She started crying and tried to explain that they were just friends, and that nothing actually happened between them. But I couldn't take her excuses anymore. I felt like she never respected me or truly loved me the way I loved her. It all just spilled out, and I reminded her how I went all out to get her an expensive gift for our special anniversary. She got quiet, and then suddenly, she acted like she was crying and asked why I got her. It felt like she was trying to manipulate me into feeling sorry for her and forgiving her. I was done with her lies and drama at that point. I told her to leave me alone and be with whoever she wanted to be with. But she insisted that we talk about it like adults and wanted me to come back as if I'm the childish one for having stormed out. I saw through her plan though. She was going to act innocent, make me feel guilty, and then try to seduce me, and honestly, just the thought of it disgusted me. I never thought I'd feel that way about my wife and the idea of being intimate with her. It was all just too much. So I made it to the concert, and when I handed my ticket to the guy at the entrance, he looked at me and said, "There's two," meaning he needed to scan the other ticket too. I must have been in a daze or something because I just stared at him blankly and replied, "Yes, there are two," and then walked inside. It was like I was in some weird trance or hypnotized or something. Anyway, the show was incredible. I had a blast and really enjoyed myself. I even ended up making friends with some cool people in my row, and we all had a great time together, singing along to the songs. But I have to admit, some of the lyrics hit me differently that night, considering everything that was going on. During the concert, I felt so alive. I danced and screamed along with the crowd, and it was like a release from all the frustrations I was feeling. The loud rock music drowned out everything else, and it was just what I needed. When the concert ended, it was still pretty early, and I thought about sitting at the bar and having a drink, but the idea of talking to someone outside of the concert context just felt overwhelming. My mind kept going back to those texts and what I had discovered, and it was hard to shake off those thoughts. So, after the concert, I headed to the hotel where I had made a reservation for my wife and me, but there I was sleeping alone. When I woke up, my inbox was flooded with about 30 emails from her. It seemed like she had been up all night, going through a roller coaster of emotions: guilt, shame, and even anger. Surprisingly, some of her emails were filled with anger towards me for going through her phone. It was surreal to read those, as if I was the one in the wrong. She pleaded and bargained, leaving voice messages expressing her surprise that I had gotten her an expensive gift, which she found out by going through my emails. She begged me to answer her calls and wanted us to talk things out, hoping we could salvage our anniversary night and make it memorable. That night turned out to be unforgettable, but not in the way I had imagined. It was when I finally saw the true colors of the person I had been married to, even though it took me nearly 12 years to fully realize it. The worst part was when she sent me all the cards I had written for her over the years: anniversary cards, birthday cards, Christmas cards. I always poured my heart into those cards, expressing my deep love for her. It was something I had never done for anyone else before, and she used to write such heartfelt cards for me too, although she hadn't done so in years. I think her intention was for me to read those cards and have my heart soften, to remember how much I loved her. She hoped that I would come to my senses, reach out to her, and that we would talk things through, leading to forgiveness and a better future together. But instead, reading those cards made me realize just how little she loved me. It was a painful realization. That night, as heartbreaking as it was, opened my eyes to who my wife truly was, despite us being together for nearly 12 years. I realized that I needed to come to terms with the situation and decide what was best for both of us moving forward. Today's second story. In this story, OP, fueled by dreams of fatherhood, confronts his wife's deceit. Discovering her affair through a declined bank transaction, he learns of her secret rendezvous with another man. Despite her pleas for reconciliation, he opts for divorce, unwilling to raise children in a relationship tainted by lies. Legal proceedings unveil her extensive online interactions, reinforcing his decision to sever ties. Now let's get into the story. My wife, 30 female, was a teacher, and we just started trying to conceive. She always wanted children since she was young, but she was extremely careful and responsible by waiting until 4 years into marriage to try. I, 29 male, was ready to be a parent. I grew up without my father, only an abusive stepdad, so it became a dream of mine to coach, mentor, and love a child of my own. Knowing we could become pregnant, we started working hard. One evening, I was on the way home from a second part-time job that I hated when I stopped to get gas. My wife had left earlier that day to stay with her sister for a few days to comfort her over the passing of her old dog. When my bank card, joint with my wife's name, was declined, I checked the balance on my phone. There was a hold on the account from the Chattanooga hotel. That city in Tennessee was 75 miles from our home in Georgia. With that $200 hold, our available account balance was $0. Months prior, my wife maxed out our credit card to buy into some business proposition that she swore was going to make us money. Now stranded and furious without a way to get gas, I called my wife. She didn't answer right away, and when she did on the fourth call, she sounded irritated. I asked her why there was a hold on the account for a hotel, and she stuttered, completely caught. She formulated a sentence that said her sister needed a getaway, some time away from home, to grieve in luxury. I said I knew that was nonsense because she wouldn't take her sister 75 miles away to do that. She freaked out and started breathing and praying quietly. She then asked me to forgive her, but before I could respond, I heard another man's voice say, "What are you doing? Hang up." Then the call ended. I was beside myself with worry and betrayal. I called her family and told them what was going on. Her sister was extremely upset too. Even more upset because she used her as a cover-up lie. Her dog hadn't even passed away yet. She stayed on the phone with me, just assuring me about the future and that I could get through this with or without my wife. It was up to me. I had the strength to face this. When my wife returned hours later, I wanted her to explain herself. I had to know why she did this and how she even knew AP. She was extremely apologetic, saying she met him online, and this was the first time they met him in person. She said they went to the movies where AP lost his wallet. They went back for it, but they were closed. AP drove 7 hours to Chattanooga, so he needed her to reserve the hotel for them until he could pay for it with his wallet the next day. That's why the hold unexpectedly gave away her entire plan. She said she was glad I caught her because it was like a slap back to reality that stopped her from having intimate with him. She was just trying to make it easier for me to forgive her and feel like nothing should stop us from continuing our marriage. I told her I couldn't believe a word that came out of her mouth and I would never trust her again. This went beyond sleeping with a stranger in a hotel. This was meeting, planning, talking, flirting, committing, scheming, and most importantly, still cheating on me. She took steps to make it happen to the point where it would be safer for me to assume she cheated. So I sent her away. She was completely shocked, like she really thought she could talk her way to forgiveness. She started crying, but I told her to stop because it would only waste precious time. I knew she wasn't the woman I should have children with. When I told her this, she dropped everything. She tried to reach for my hands, but I pulled away. I asked her why I would have children with a woman that lied to me and drove miles away to meet another man in a hotel room. She said since nothing actually happened, and she was remorseful, I should stay married to her and continue to trust her. That didn't make sense at all from my betrayed perspective. She went to her sister's for real this time, to live with her. Her sister was not happy, so their arrangement only lasted until she kicked her out a few months after our divorce was final. I was able to prove in the courts what kind of woman my wife really was. The real whammy in all of this that proves she would have continued her sneaky behavior is our phone records. I obtained them to show the court she was communicating with AP for a year and a half before they met in person. He wasn't the only person she communicated with, and she was actually getting paid by men online to send them nudes.